I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite Lorecast on the Citadel.
Welcome to the Mass Effect Lorecast, the podcast where we explore the vast universe of lore behind the Mass Effect games. We'll talk about all the details you may have missed, ask the hard questions, and more. Spectres, welcome back to the Mass Effect Lorecast. This is your host, Tom or Robots. I'm here with Sam and Cloudy Atlas again to follow up on the rest of the results from our big survey. Sam, how's it going?
I am still feeling a little under the weather because it is the same night when we're recording this. But I am happy to be here, and we have some even more interesting insights from this half of the survey. So I'm glad we saved this for last.
Yeah, Cloudy, I hear that you've done some cross analysis that's going to blow our minds, and that you actually will surprise me and Sam because we haven't seen it yet. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm so excited. Sam, just buckle up.
Buckle up, buckaroo.
Oh, damn it. You took it out of my mouth.
All right. So let's dive into this. We've got question number 15. How many people survived the suicide mission in your Mass Effect 2 playthrough? We have results that go from 0 all the way up to the total number of 12 being everyone. And here, I'm just going to show the results. First of all, what did you guys expect?
Okay, some of you are watching walkthroughs. That's what these results mean.
Right.
I think so. And it doesn't mean that the majority are, but I think some of you are, which is okay. I mean, it's definitely not cheating. Not that I would ever say that.
92.7% said everyone. Then we have 3.8% that said 11, and then it goes down to 1.3% for 10, and then, of course, lots of other lesser numbers after that. Very, very small percentages of anything below that.
Very, very small. And I'm trying to see what the smallest one is, but there's a lot that only have one respondent. In fact, there are more people that said they had 6 people survive than said that they had 9 people survive, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
It's only a difference of like 2 people, but yeah, by far, vast majority had everyone survive. But I think if you're listening and you're paying attention and you know, following along, you understand what people's strengths are. So it's not too hard to get everyone to survive as long as you're paying really close attention. What do you think, Cloudy?
Not surprised by this. I might have used a guide. I just didn't want anybody to die. The next one, the 11 surviving, not surprising. A lot of people probably left Morden in the front line, didn't have him send back with the envoy, and he's very squishy. Or Morden.
Yeah, I didn't do that. I'd be in 11. My first playthrough, I lost Thane.
Oh, wow.
Who was my romance interest?
Did he die on the ship?
Did you put him in the vents?
Probably. Maybe that was it. It's been a while. He was in charge of one of the groups.
Some of these deaths, you know, can occur not based off of what you have done, not based off of what choice you did make, but rather what you didn't do. And if you didn't get all the ship upgrades, some people can die. I think my very, very first playthrough, I had Jack die, and it was because I forgot to buy one of the ship upgrades. And if I remember right, it's the one you get from Jacob. But I save scummed that. so Jack did not die. So yeah, I'm proud of our audience, you know, saving everyone. So good for you.
Good job, everybody.
My partner's on our very first playthrough, and she lost Tali and Kasumi, and so she's gonna have a very different playthrough of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah. Wow. All right, let's move on to number 16. Favorite loyalty mission. And we have just a big list of everybody. Garrus, Tali, Thane, Kasumi, Jack, Zaid, Jacob, Grunt, Morden, Miranda, Samara, and Legion. What did you guys guess? I mean, I feel like, well, I would have been wrong, but by a little bit. Like, I would have assumed that Garrus, because he's such a favorite, would have been higher.
Likewise, I would have guessed that as well. There are some things that happened that did surprise me because I wouldn't have guessed them, like Kasumi's. I would not have guessed so many people really like Kasumi's loyalty mission. But the one that scored the highest, not surprising because of the massive lore implications that it has. And that is, of course, Tally's.
Tally at 23.3%. Next highest is Kasumi at 19.2. Then we have Garrus at 12.9. And then it descends from there. Morden's at 11. And then some of these are very close. Samara 7.6. Grunt 7.9. Thane 5.4. Over here, Jack at 5.4. Legion at 3.2. Miranda 3.1. Jacob 1.6. And Zaid at 1.3.
Morden's very low. Morden's mission is very low for the massive implications it has on Mass Effect 3. I mean, if you didn't do Morden's loyalty mission, or if you chose one way or another, I mean, it severely affects your ability to cure the genophage in a happy way. So,
do you think a lot of people picked these because it was more fun to play through some of them than others? Not necessarily because of their connection to the character, not necessarily because of the lore implications, that they just enjoyed the quests more?
I think that's a high likelihood. I think there's probably a variety of factors that go into it. You know, how long was it? Was it tedious? Like, for example, Jacob's loyalty mission wasn't too long, but it's kind of tedious. And just not that fun, really. And then it's like this, you know, stereotypical sci-fi twist at the end. So I don't know what to make of it, but looking at this pie chart, it's pretty evenly split. So I don't think you could very well say that there's a clear majority with any one of these, but there is a decent chunk of people who really like Tally's mission.
Right. Cloudy, any thoughts?
I'm surprised Kasumi's up so high. I really thought Morden would be more popular. Kasumi's, no offense to Kasumi, when I replay it, I usually just put on my headphones and not listen to the quest and just run through it because I know where to go, I know what to do, and then I just finish it really quick. I can do it in like 10 minutes now, I think.
You're going to be speedrunning these games. All right, next one on the list, we have number 17. Did Rex die on Vermeer in Mass Effect 1?
Realized after the fact this was a loaded question for those of us who did not play Mass Effect 1 because it kind of chooses for you.
Ah, yeah.
And so he did die for those people who didn't play Mass Effect 1. But even so, oh my gosh.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so...
That's a resounding answer.
Right, the answer comes out 96.5 no, with the remainder 3.5% yes.
Yeah. So, of the 316 people who replied to this question, 305 said Rex did not die on Vermeer.
That's such a big number. I mean, I fall in that group, but it still seems bigger than I would have expected.
Same. Because there was a hidden thing in Mass Effect 1 where if you sat on that screen for too long, when, you know, you have that standoff with Rex and in Vermeer, if you sit on that screen too long, eventually Ashley makes a decision for you and she pulls the trigger and Rex is dead.
I think that may have happened. No, I'm remembering way back. And I had to save scum because I was like, wait, no. I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to have. And then like, that sounds very familiar to me.
A lot of people. That happened with a lot of people. And I've seen it happen on people's streams when they're in their very first playthrough and they're like, I don't know. Should I do this? Should I not do this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden Ashley just takes a shot and they're like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm not entirely surprised by this. Only surprised that it's so high. Maybe I would have guessed like 80% said Rex did not die, but 96.5. Wow. Damn near everyone.
Yeah. Cloudy, any thoughts?
I wasn't surprised by this because it's about on par with the BioWare survey. 94% of people of all gamers saved Rex. I mean, he's great. Like, he really changes 3. How could you do this to him?
Yeah, right.
So with the gender differential between the BioWare survey and the and our survey, maybe that means that love of Rex is across genders.
There you go.
We all agree to love Rex.
Yeah, all 1.8% of you who wrote Rex in as a wishable romance. I see you.
Oh yes, I know
man.
people personally who would love to romance Rex. So
that battle turtle love.
Yes, Rex love. Granddaddy Krogan love.
All right, moving on to the next one. We've got number 18. Did Morden survive Mass Effect 3? Yes, no, or he didn't survive Mass Effect 2, so you couldn't have chosen yes or no. Does this fall in line with what you guys thought?
I honestly thought the he didn't survive Mass Effect 2 thing would be higher because he is so squishy. And if you put him in the wrong role in that suicide mission, things can go awry. But ultimately, that was the smallest slice of the pie.
Yeah, 90.5% said no, 7% said yes, and then the remainder is just 2.5% who said he didn't survive Mass Effect 2.
And if I'm not mistaken, the only way that he can survive Mass Effect 3 requires you to do some pretty sketchy things. And so that 7% must be, there must be a decent overlap with the pure Renegade playthrough. And I think that question is actually directly, it has a precedent with the previous question right before that. Did Rex die on Vermeer? Because I think for Morden to survive Mass Effect 3, Rex has to not survive Mass Effect 1. Is that right, Cloudy?
Yeah, I believe Rex can't be alive, and then also like another character, I don't want to spoil anything, but they also have to be dead, and you have to do a Renegade interrupt, so you have to do a lot of bad things to be here.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can cut you out of even having that as an option. So it would make sense that the no is such a majority of the pie.
But what doesn't make sense here is that only 90% said that Morden does not survive Mass Effect 3, which implies that, they went with the Paragon route and cured the genophage and whatnot. That's 90%. But the next question, did you cure the genophage? That's a significantly different percentage says yes, they did cure the genophage. So 98.4% said they did cure the genophage.
Yeah, so that leaves 1.6 at no.
Right. So there's a decent chunk of people who they did cure the genophage, but Morden somehow survived, or he died in Mass Effect 2. I'm not sure. Maybe some people replied in that one, some others didn't reply in the next one.
Yeah,
but
I have to wonder if everybody kept in mind that they were like their core gameplay, their core playthrough, that these all had to be answered from that perspective, rather than like, which would you choose? So I'm sure there was some of that.
Fair, you're 20 questions into a survey, you might not remember the premise at the beginning, so that's fair. But again, 98.4% choosing to cure the genophage. So we are going to get some comments on YouTube that are defending the Solarians and saying that genophage was justified. And we welcome the contrarians. So come on in.
Yeah. Cloudy, any thoughts?
About on par with the BioWare survey, 96% cured the genophage.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the Krogan have suffered long enough, and you can't let Rex down.
Can't let Rex down. Well, this next one is going to be controversial. Sam?
Oh, I was just going to say, turns out most people are not for forced sterility. So I like that. I like that reflection on humanity, that we're not for that.
Yeah, forced anything kind of sucks. All right, so next we have, this is a big one. Did you enjoy, specific choice of words here, Sam, did you enjoy Mass Effect Andromeda? Yes or no? What did you expect? Okay,
so I think I worded this one.
Mm-hmm. And we got some people who did not answer this. We have 206 responses, so what,
306.
I'm sorry, 306. So 22 people didn't answer this one.
Right. There was a decent amount of people that didn't answer. However, majority did. And I wrote, did you enjoy Mass Effect Andromeda? Not do you like it?
Right.
Not even did you play it? Not, I said, did you enjoy it? Because you can enjoy a game that you overall don't approve of.
Yeah, you may not like it as much as the others, but you could still enjoy it.
Right. Was it entertaining?
Mm-hmm.
At the very least. And I wanted to, I only gave yes or no answers because I did not want there to be the wiggle room of debate. Well, I played it, but it fell squarely in the mediocre category, which is where I hear so many people say that. Well, I liked it, but it wasn't memorable. It wasn't anything special.
If you were on a desert island with a console and a TV that somehow worked on the desert island, and that was the thing that you could play, would you still play it? right?
Right.
If you enjoyed it, and then you would say yes. If you didn't, you'd probably say no.
And by a factor of greater than 3-1, people said yes. 78.1% said yes, they did enjoy Mass Effect Andromeda. 21.9% said no. So hopefully this is the statistic to end all Twitter debate about where we stand on Andromeda, where I've seen so many hot takes that are like, hot take, Mass Effect Andromeda was not that bad, or hot take, I liked Mass Effect Andromeda. Hot take, you're not alone. 78.1% of our respondents said that they did enjoy Mass Effect Andromeda. Maybe it's just not their favorite.
Right.
So,
yeah. Cloudy, what do you think?
Way to write a binary question. There's no wiggle room on this one. It's, did you enjoy it or not? And I didn't really care for it too much. It was fine.
Would you have said no? Did you say no?
I mean, I enjoyed playing it, but it was just like, this is more Mass Effect. I could get on.
So you came down just on the yes side of the answer.
Yeah, it was barely a yes. I did play it. I beat it. I think I played it twice. So, yeah, I guess I did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's when you're forced to have to make a call. Yeah.
Yeah, and I came down, a little bit narrowly, but I came down on the yes side because if I'm being honest with myself, yes, I was entertained. I played it all the way through. I think I sank 40, 50 hours into that game. I paid $60 for it when it came out. I always think about these things in terms of enjoyment per cost per hour of enjoyment, and It was incredibly cost effective in that regard.
Here would be an interesting perspective. If that game was a standalone game and not set in the Mass Effect world, in the Mass Effect series, if you just found out here's a sci-fi game where you're these travelers who go to Andromeda and they meet some aliens and they do this thing, and you didn't know it was Mass Effect stuff, you didn't previously play the Mass Effect games, you didn't like Mass Effect at all, would your answer still be the same? Or does the Mass Effect tie-in skew you into the enjoy?
I honestly, if it wasn't Mass Effect branded, I don't know if I would have played it.
But had you played it, had you started playing, you got in the first 2 hours, would you continue playing and enjoyed the game?
Probably not.
It totally skews it, doesn't it? It totally changes. Yes, I want to keep playing this because it's already tied to the things I love, as opposed to, yes, I want to keep playing this because it's just a good game on its own.
Just ESO, I'm not a huge fan of MMOs, but I do love Elder Scrolls a lot. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't Elder Scrolls, probably would not have played it. Yeah.
That really does count for a lot. So, Cloudy, what do you think? Would you fall on the same side of that?
Yeah, like I said, it was just more Mass Effect, and I beat Legendary Edition. I was just more Mass Effect. Right. Keep playing.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. All right. Well, we got to take a break and thank our patrons. Let's go do that. We'll be right back.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I am sovereign, and this station is mine. I like the sound of that.
Well, it would be a little bit weird if in the, short amount of time between recording the first half of this double episode pair and this episode, we got a bunch of new patrons in. Nobody new has signed up since then, but thank you to all of our patrons. Big shout outs to all 64 of you, including our Commander Shepherds, Kokashins, Captain Shenko, Kira C, Lieutenant Tassino, Pipe Man, and William. Thank you so very much. If you would like to check out all the different stuff you can get on the Patreon, go to patreon.com/Mass Effect Lorecast. Sam and I would appreciate the support. It helps us to keep making these episodes and keep on doing the stuff. And it makes us feel pretty good at the end of the day that people like it enough to spend some money on it and get some cool stuff in return. So go check that out. Also, leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or a rating on Spotify is extremely helpful. Please do that. And if you leave a 5-star review with some words on Apple, we'll read it out on a future episode. So that's it for this mid-break. Let's get back to the rest of these survey questions.
Spit it out, or are you trying to build suspense?
You're so dense, sir. Obviously, I do not know as much about human relationships as I thought.
All right, so this one I think is very, very interesting.
This is the most divisive question that we have on here.
Number 21. For the next Mass Effect game, would you want to play as Shepard again? Yes or no? No caveats, no explanation, just yes or no. What did you expect?
I expected a lot of yes. I expected a lot of yes.
Cloudy, what did you expect?
I expected about 60% or more yeses.
Yeah, so here's what we got. We got 50.2, just slightly more than half, yeses. And 49.8 no's. That's one person more on the yes side than the no side.
I love democracy.
Oh my God. That is so close.
That's one person is the difference there. So if anyone ever tells you your vote doesn't matter, no, I'm kidding.
Your vote matters. But think about it, like from the perspective of BioWare, like if the fan base is this split, it's very hard to make the right call.
That's the worst. If you're a BioWare marketing person and you're listening to this is the worst possible conclusion you could have from marketing, because it doesn't give you any specific direction of which way to go. You're like, oh, good, we're fucked either way.
Yeah. Whatever you decide, half the fan base is going to be upset about it. Congratulations.
That vindicates so much of what we've said already for these, 83 episodes we've been doing this. We've been saying so many times, the next Mass Effect, it's going to piss people off. It's going to disenfranchise people, no matter which direction they take with it.
And I think they know that. That might be why it's taken so long for them to come back to the series, because they needed enough time to go by in order to kind of refresh people on stuff and break down some of the expectations potentially. But maybe they screwed themselves by putting Legendary Edition out there and getting a whole bunch more people all excited for a new Mass Effect game. Cloudy, what do you think?
Right.
What was that saying?
Oh, I was just going to say, right. And yeah. This is, forget is Ashley racist. Forget is Andromeda good or bad. All of those Twitter arguments that you've seen on Mass Effect Twitter, this is apparently the most divisive Mass Effect topic, at least with our data that we have here.
Yeah, with our people. Cloudy, what do you think?
So like I said, I thought it was going to be 60% or more saying yes, because I'm on Twitter a lot and I just see that people harping on about that. Like, I won't play it if Shepard's in it is the biggest complaint or like comment I see about the next Mass Effect. It's just, if Shepard's not in it and I can't play as them, I'm not going to play it. So to have it be this split, poor BioWare, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah. So this ties into the next question. In the next Mass Effect, should Shepard be around even as an NPC? So I assume yes. The wording is either as playable or an NPC, right? Like, right. Should they be around at all?
Should they be around in any capacity? Mm-hmm. This was the caveat to the previous question.
Right.
Because I know so many people say, okay, well, no, I wouldn't want to play as Shepard again, but I would like to have him around.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is the caveat. So basically, I wanted to deduce from these previous two questions, how many people don't want Shepard even fucking mentioned? Like, don't even bring up that fucker's name to me. And I think we can gather from these results that there's a decent chunk of the Mass Effect community, about 1 in 3, that don't want to hear about Shepard at all anymore in any capacity.
Yes, 63.6% says yes, 36.4% says no. I would put myself in the no category on this one.
Really? Why is that?
Because we already have Shepard's story. Shepard's story is done. Let's let Shepard lie, and let's make a new Mass Effect story. Because if we keep dwelling on characters, I still want some of the characters to come back. Let's continue in, just like any good sequel. Some of the characters come back. There's some stuff that continues on. But if they're really going to tell a new story, Shepard's has had his heroic arc. Shepard's story is fulfilled. And to have Shepard come back in some ways lessens the importance of that final decision, or how your story ended. Let your story be the way Shepard's story ended. Move on. Right.
So let Shepard remain a martyr.
Yes. Yeah. But let's move on. Right. And on top of that, from a personal standpoint, I like RPGs where I get to design my character and make my own character as custom and designed as I possibly can. If Shepard comes back, Shepard's going to look like the character I designed, or I'm going to be Shepard again with the character that I previously designed, right? That doesn't give me anything fresh and new. I'm always about the fresh and give me something fresh and new. Also, if I'm playing a character and Shepard is there as an NPC and I made Shepard look like me, what do I do with my new character? Do I make another character that does Shepard now have twins? Like, how does that work? That's weird.
Like the Spider-Man meme, they're pointing at each other.
Like, wait a minute. You look kind of like that other guy.
I know you. No, I can see that. I can see that certainly. And I think maybe part of the 63.6% of people who said yes were thinking Shepard can be around in a narrative referenced capacity.
But I don't know how you do a sequel where that doesn't reference Shepard. My assumption here is that Shepard is not alive, is alive or isn't alive, right? That's kind of the spirit of the question. Like, is Shepard a living NPC or character in this? Or is Shepard dead and gone, or just doesn't show up in the game, even if they're referenced, you know, like, oh, the great deeds of, you know, Shepard back in the day, that kind of thing.
Right. And I think, you know, this decent percentage, 63.6%, and then the 50.2% in the previous question, I think if BioWare takes the direction in the next Mass Effect that they're going to side skirt all of the decisions you made in the previous games by merely forgetting that Shepard even existed, and then that Shepard is never even referenced in the lore, you're going to really piss a lot of people off that way. If it's a sequel, like, that is a strong middle finger in a narrative way to the player base. And I would feel insulted.
Yeah. Cloudy, what do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
I personally said yes to this one, but I'm not surprised it's so many yeses. I've seen a lot of people say, like, I would love to see them in kind of an Anderson capacity, or I've even seen somebody say, like, make it like Star Trek, where you see the previous captain handing it off to, like, Kirk and having them, like, pass it off like that. Like, that would be great. That's, like, all I need in that. So I'm not really surprised on the split for this one. I would like them referenced, I think. Maybe even just in passing, like, even just in a conversation. They don't have to physically be there. Just maybe just mention them.
I'm totally cool with that. I would expect that people are still talking about the things that Shepard did, or people are inspired by Shepard in some way, or, you know, reminisce about, like, oh, the day I got to meet Shepard, blah, blah, blah. I totally expect all of that.
It could be a flashback. It could definitely be a flashback of your player character. Like we talked about before, what if the next player character is also an N7?
Right.
You know?
Right. It looks just like Shepard.
No. What if your player character is also an N7, and then, like, you know, it goes back to, like, flashback to N7 training, and they have some caveat like, oh, this was in training in outer space, so that Shepard was wearing a helmet, you know? Sure. Yeah,
you could totally do that. Yeah.
And then, like, you know, they met Shepard that way, and then, like, even like that little bit of a reference, like they became like a trainer or something, somehow survived the events of Mass Effect 3, I think would placate a lot of the fan base.
I will chime in here at the end of this specific question discussion and say that although I want the answer to be no, I totally expect the actual implementation of this to be yes. Like, I think that's more likely to happen than not.
Why? Fan service?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because people are going to want to see Shepard. If they can't play as Shepard, they at least want to be able to see Shepard. And like you were explaining, have a flashback or a scene or a comm come in from, oh, Commander Shepard on the new Citadel told us this, or whatever, you know, like it plays into it. It kind of makes it feel like, for a lot of people, Shepard is Mass Effect.
And it didn't help that Andromeda tanked.
Yeah.
I mean, Andromeda didn't have a memorable protagonist. Mm-hmm. So that really, like, added to the mythos of Shepard.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on to question 23. Favorite alien race? Lots of different options here. Angara, Asari, Batarian, Drell, Elcor, Hanar, Ket, Krogan, Prothean, Corian, Solarian, Turian. So many Ian's names at the end. I just realized that. Volus, Vorcha, and Yogg. Man, you included everybody. You didn't put human because these are alien races, so you can't choose human.
Where is my love for the Volus? Because it ain't here.
Where's our Volus love? Oh,
that is the smallest sliver on the pie. It's two people. said that the Volus are their favorite.
Elcor
That's the
gets
same amount of people.
Oh, Elcor gets like 4 times the love.
I know, and Batarians got the same amount of love as the Volus.
Yeah, and the
What's up with
Yogg.
that?
The Yogg too. All right, so here, let's show the results here. We have the biggest slice of the pie, 22.4%. Asari, 23.3 is the largest Turian, then Asari. Then we have 15.8 as the Quarians. The Krogan are 14.5. The Drell are 8.8. Elcor, 4.7. It's pretty large for being a small slice. Solarian, 2.8. Prothean 2.8, and then everything gets real tiny. Angara 1.6, and if we can get to it, the Hanar 1.3, and then the Volus, the Yogg, and are they? Can I even see them in there? Volus, Yogg. That's it, right? The Ket. Did the Ket even show up?
No.
The Vorcha? They're not in here either. Nobody voted Vorcha or Ket.
Yeah, no love lost for the Vorcha. That's not exactly a shocking headline. No love lost for the carbon copy sci-fi villain race, the Ket. But I'm not really shocked by the fact that Turians took the largest slice of the pie. I am shocked that Asari fell so close behind, because again, I just feel like we don't really hear that much about love for the Asari. It's not rabid, I guess. It's not rabid and in your face love for the Asari.
Well, and this one was a nail biter because it only came in at Turian in the last 50 votes. The Asari had the lead for the first 200 people, and then the Turians, as out of nowhere in the last third, took it away.
Huh. Just coming out with like a attack craft. I don't know. I don't have a good analogy.
They called in the backup.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this one? I mean, it kind of resonates for most part. I'm a little bit surprised, like the Elcor got so many votes.
My personal favorite was not the personal favorite of most. My personal favorite are the Protheans. So I guess I have that in common with Liara, but I do find them to be really interesting. And short of the Protheans, the Turians, I definitely a big fan of.
Yeah. Cage asks, where were the Geth? Yeah, no Geth on this list. We're talking biological races, right?
I believe so, but I mean, Geth is a decent question that we may have had an oversight on, or a lack of oversight. So that is a good point, and I'll take responsibility for that one, for not implementing the Geth. If you are upset and want the Geth included, you can email us. Email us at masseffectlorecast@gmail.com. Make sure to curse N7Legend.
We'll have to put out a single question survey that includes the Geth on a future thing. What about AI, like Edie? That's not on there. Mm-hmm.
Although Edie is unique.
That's true. It's true. But you could say I'm just making stuff up. All right, sure. Let's move on to question 24. This is interesting. Favorite episode. Oh, unless Claudia, I didn't mean to jump over you. Did you have anything else you want to share about that last one, about the races?
Oh, I actually purposely left the Geth out. They're not alive. Fight me.
Wow. All right. So send your messages to CloudyAtlas at CloudyAtlas.com.
No, still send them to Sam at his email. Don't message me. Do not at me.
All right, so
Don't at Cloudy.
Don't at Cloudy. So we have question 24. This one's about us. Favorite episode of the Lorecast so far? And we got a variety of different answers. What did this come out to?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway here is that there were only 148 replies to this. So what I would take that to mean, along with a decent amount of replies that say n/a, I haven't watched it yet, or I haven't listened to it. One of them was very nice. It said I had not heard of your podcast yet, but now I intend to. I think we can take from that 318 total responses. Most of the questions had 317 responses. Only 148 responses to this. I think that means our Twitter presence precedes our actual listenership who took place or who participated in this survey.
Yeah. Or people just didn't want to take the time to write something. They were like, I've done enough of these, I'm done.
Right. Also that. But if this means that you are a listener and you haven't participated in any of our surveys yet, or if it means you're a listener and you haven't followed us on Twitter yet, please follow us on Twitter. But the biggest takeaways from people's favorite episodes of the Lorecast so far, of the people who did watch them, I'm seeing a recurrent answer.
The Krogan slamming ass.
The Krogan's slamming ass.
That's the top one.
It is mentioned. I don't know if it's the top one.
Oh, it's not.
But I do see it. I do see a decent amount of people say that they like the music of Mass Effect episode.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that episode was awesome.
I think because I think it was unique. I don't think that there are a ton of video game podcasts that do that kind of breakdown. And we have extremely, we've talked about it before. We have extremely bright and brilliant people who support this podcast, who also, appeared on that episode and made that episode possible. But Cloudy, what other takeaways did you notice from this myriad of answers?
First of all, everybody's just really nice. Like, nice fan group right now. I'm very impressed. Yeah, a lot of them. Music episode, big one. We love the Batarians. I think that one was particularly interesting. I put that one as well because you talked about real life examples of the hegemony, and I thought that was really interesting. It just, yeah. That was the main. It's music and Batarians, so I guess they go hand in hand.
At least I had no chill in the Batarian episode, and probably because we were talking about authoritarian regimes. And if there's something to get N7 riled up, it's people taking all the power for themselves and, oppressing others. So fuck them.
Pretty sure that's the first episode you swear in as well. So
Oh, was it?
Hey, if I needed a better reason to swear, I think I couldn't find one.
I like that at least one person put the Mary Kill
Yes, one person did put that. I see the Joker episodes on here a few times, and I also see the STG and League of One episodes. I liked those
quiz
ones.
Episode. There's a few of them.
This person, very kind, says, truly, honestly, all of them. If I'm forced to pick, I love the character bios, and Anderson's hit me really hard. So I see Anderson's mentioned a few times, and I'm glad my love for Anderson was conveyed through the airwaves to your ear holes.
Nice. So the final question says, what topic do you want Mass Effect Lorecast to cover that has not covered yet? And some of these we have covered. Some of them are very strange, like Yogg romance. I like that one. But some of these are actually really, really cool. Things like Mass Effect comics and novels, like getting a little bit deeper into like what are the best ones of those to check out. We did some stuff on ship technology, but we could do more on ship technology. More Andromeda content is on here. What do you think, Sam?
I like this one. I like this one that says, whatever, doesn't matter to me.
whatever. But some of them definitely, like we've covered, but people just haven't either caught up to those episodes or haven't listened to the show. Like the Mako. Yep, we did that. There's a few. First Contact War. Yep, we did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are a lot of these that are referencing romance topics, and I've stayed, kind of at arm's length about romance topics. I got a little bit too involved with the Ashley one, so I think I'm going to have to pick up the slack when we cover Caden. But those are going to have to be separate episodes from the bios of the characters. And about the speculative, I see a lot of things on here that are like speculative topics, like theories and things that are not necessarily cemented in the lore. And I do want to just tell everyone that we will talk about that when the time comes, but we have so much stuff that is like confirmed and cemented in the lore that we got to get through first.
Right. And that happens with the other lore shows that I do too. People are like, can you talk more about this? And it's like, yes, but I can't do an entire episode about that. Like, there's like 2 lines of anything anywhere that says that there's nothing else to know about it. So we can speculate about it, but the actual lore is like, tiny bit, this much.
Yes. Definitely. And there are some theories that I would love to discuss, but I don't want to get into wild speculation mode really until we're really close to the beginning of the next Mass Effect, the release of the next Mass Effect. And then, I don't have any problem getting into speculation and hyping things up a little bit because we'll all be very excited at that point.
Right. Right.
But this person says, not necessarily a topic, but would be good to see the voice actors or writers on the show to discuss characters and thoughts on the game. I appreciate this may be difficult to arrange. Very. I've reached out to a few voice actors, a few writers, to just kind of touch base and see if they would be interested. And if anyone is listening to this and would like a given voice actor or a given writer of the series to be on the show, honestly, I think the best way to get their attention might be to just tweet at them and say, hey, I don't know if you've heard about this podcast, but I think it would be excellent to hear you on this podcast talking about Mass Effect. And so, and I say tweet at them because not all of them have their direct messages open. Right. And that's the thing that I'm running into a lot.
Most people won't. And like, for example, if you try to message me, if we're not already friends on Twitter, it goes in that little extra side box that like, hey, you might want to answer these, but it doesn't tell you get a message in. So unless I go manually check that, I don't know that new people are sending me private messages.
Exactly. And the fact that like we haven't had many people who have had worked on the game yet before on the show, it's not through any lack of trying on my part, and it's definitely not through, I don't think, lack of interest on their part. It's just that you have to understand that those people must be getting so many messages from all angles, all hours of the day. So the chances that they even saw my messages are pretty low. But those chances of them knowing about the podcast, about them perhaps wanting to be, on a conversation with us, those go up if people mention them and the podcast, in the same sentence. So,
yeah, absolutely. Cloudy, did you have some other insights for us? I know you've been cross-examining some of this data.
Yeah. One last thing on the topic you want to cover. If you do want deep dives for relationships, Two Girls, One Shit, great podcast that will cover that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go check that out.
More information about those. So now the cross-examination time, my favorite, where we get to draw random conclusions. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the regular ones and then move into the debatey ones?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to break down the endings. We kind of covered who picked what for the endings. Most common was destroy, followed by synthesis, and then control. And I wanted to know who these people were. So I figured out for the control ending, majority of you were infiltrators, which I find weird. It was statistically significant. The next was Vanguard at 24% of you. Infiltrators were 34%. So
I mean,
don't know why
infiltrators
really like control.
Sounds aggressive. So
sounds sneaky.
Controlling other people, infiltrating and taking control of something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for destroy, you were most likely to be a Vanguard, which feels really just on par. The Vanguards just come in, destroy everything, get right in the front lines, and then leave. Followed by soldiers.
Smash.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. And then for the synthesis, most likely to just be a soldier, huge margin, 37%. The next highest was infiltrator at 19%.
Wow.
So I guess soldiers do want peace.
Wow, not a mix that I would have thought. Soldiers and synthesis. Wow.
Is that? I wonder if that skews because of the number of people who chose them being the largest. I wonder if you were to average them out, like
maybe, but still, like infiltrator was most popular for control by a lot. Like a lot of people picked it.
Yeah.
That is shocking. That is shocking. However, maybe not because of the small total number of people that pick control.
Yeah, maybe.
But I guess it's still shocking that they took up so much of the percentage.
Right. Okay. What else you got, Cloudy?
If you were a Renegade Shepherd, those 2.2% of you, 63% of you chose to play as FemShep. Which I'm surprised
Like
by.
Sassy
Mark
Shep.
Mear's performance as Renegade Shepherd is just like chef's kiss for some of the lines. He's so good at being an asshole.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
Yes. Okay.
He is. But this tells me that people love Sassy Shep.
They like to be Karen Shepherd.
There are some lines that Jennifer Hale delivers as Renegade Shep that are so ice cold. And it's especially the Renegade one that you can take if you don't do the interrupt, but that you actually say the Renegade thing to the Eclipse Merc, and you choose not to kick him out the window. And I think she says something along the lines of, "What do you think your body sounds like when it splats across the ground?" or something like that.
Do you think you'll be alive to hear it? And then she just like pushes him.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good. That's good.
All right, so I think you mentioned that you had a debatey one, something controversial.
Yeah, but it was interesting because I just wanted to compare. Oh, wait. Oh, it's coming. But before the Paragon, it was exactly 50-50 for gender. It was really interesting. It was the Renegades really just love playing as femship. So for the spicy one, I was just curious. And granted, I have no bias here. If you saved Ashley on Vermeer, what % of you killed Rex? I was just curious. 5% of you killed Rex if you saved Ashley. If you saved Caden, 1.9% of you kill Rex.
That's a very different amount.
1.9% could be leaving Vermeer without Ashley or Rex. But it's actually kind of more surprising that they would choose then to save Ashley after Ashley kills Rex.
Maybe they liked what she did.
Or maybe they chose to shoot Rex. That's also possible.
That too. Yeah. There's a little bit of conflicting data there. Like we need to get like a lot more questions in to get significant answers, but that was just more speculative. So then I decided to dig deeper. If you romanced Ashley, what % of you saved Rex versus if you romanced Caden, what % of you killed Rex? So if you romanced Ashley, 9.5% of you killed Rex. Do you want to take a guess of how many people who romance Caden kill Rex?
11d7.
11d7.
Threve.
I don't know. What was that, Cloudy? For some reason, your audio is not coming through. Say that again.
Oh,
there you are.
0. 0% of you who romance Caden kill Rex. But 9.5% of you who romance Ashley kill Rex.
Wow.
I wonder why.
Huh.
Who knows? Very, very mystery there, huh? Well, I think we've given the Rex killers enough airtime.
Yeah, right. All right. Anything else, Cloudy?
That was my spicy one. I didn't want to offend Sam right after he did the Ashley episode.
Oh.
I'm not saying anything against Ashley. It was just, I found that very concerning.
I'm curious, how quick would it be to deduce how many people romanced Ashley and then also sacrificed Ashley? For the meaningful tragedy playthrough that I said it was my favorite.
I bet it's small.
I bet it's a very small percentage.
Yeah.
It's probably
she's
like
looking at the data.
I'm willing to bet while she's doing that. I'm willing to bet that it's less than 5%.
I was thinking like 1%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like
I think most people will not sacrifice the person that they romance.
I bet it's 0.3%. That's one person. That's one person.
You're changing it. You're just dropping it all the way to the lowest percent we can have.
I know it's at least 0.3%.
Because you voted for it?
Because I did the survey.
Right. All right.
Okay, what did you guess, Sam?
I guessed it was seriously.
First said 5%.
5%.
And then he said 0.3. I'm guessing 1%.
0.3.
0.3. It's only you, Sam.
One person.
That's him.
I'm unique.
It's him.
I'm special.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most people will not sacrifice the person they romance.
Wow. Well, would you look at that? I am the weird masochist in the group, I guess. Like meaningful tragedy, like bawling my eyes out. No, Ashley.
Is it meaningful if you force it to happen?
It was out of my control. There's nothing I could do. The die was set.
Yeah.
The mold was cast.
Yeah. All right, Cloudy, anything else? Any other bits of fun little...
No, those were my final thoughts. Sam, did you have any you wanted to throw out there?
No, I mean, other than the fact that I'm just so happy that so many people took so much time out of their day to answer some questions about Mass Effect and give us insights into the community that we didn't yet have. I don't think this will be the last survey that we put out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to thank you, Cloudy, for helping to put this together. Again, if you're listening to this, these surveys are the brainchild of Cloudy Atlas. So credit goes to her.
Thanks. I love putting them together, nerding out on the results, and just seeing what people say. It's always nice to it's cool to see other people's choices. It's like picking their brains. See.
I do like the macro view of the community because we can get so bogged down in the rhetoric and the jargon and the bickering on Twitter. Then
vocal minorities.
Yes, that it can get skewed with who the loudest are.
Right. I think this happens in a lot of things. The vocal minority can be very loud and they make themselves sound more numerous than they actually are. But then when you do things like this, you come to find out that maybe they are, but maybe they're not. Maybe things are different.
All right. And it's not, I mean, we don't have the largest number of responses, but it's also not a number to balk at because it's 318. I think that's legitimate enough to say that roughly half of the community chooses to save Ashley, roughly half chooses to save Caden on Vermeer. That is not a statistic I would have guessed.
Yeah.
It is also not a statistic I would have guessed that half of the community, exactly half, would like Shepard to come back and play as Shepard, and half would definitely not.
Yeah, very, very, very unexpected. But I guess we'll just have to see what they decide to do. That's a tough one. Well, guys, time to wrap this up. Cloudy, you want to share anything you got going on?
Yeah, I'm on the Robots Radio Discord at Cloudy Atlas, Twitter at Cloudy Atlas 22, and then September 23rd, I'll be on the Two Girls One Ship episode for Fallout 4. We'll be covering McCready and Hancock.
Awesome. Cool. We'll have fun with that and say hi to the girls for us. Sam, you got anything you want to share?
Yeah, streaming Mass Effect as always every Saturday, Sassy Shep Saturdays, and still working on a first playthrough of Dragon Age. I just hit 500 followers on on Twitch. So thank you everyone who has followed me on Twitch. That's fun. And I think when I hit 1,000, I'll do another giveaway. But this one will be a bit bigger. I'm thinking of buying something a little bit pricier from the BioWare gear store, maybe something cooler like a N7 helmet. So yeah, I've already had the gears churning a little bit about how I want entries to go, and I think the best possible way, the most egalitarian way to allow entries into a giveaway might just be with channel points.
Yeah, nice.
Because you can't forge those.
Nope. That's a good idea.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, guys, you can check out all of our stuff. You can come to twitch.tv and words are hard, guys. Twitch.tv/Robots Radio for our live streams, which are now on Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Come hang out with us. Join me there also for my game streams and the other shows that I do. And if you're interested in any of our shows, any of the other shows on the network, Two Girls, One Ship, all of that stuff is robotsradio.net. Go check it out. Twitch.tv/Words are hard. Words is hard. You got to update that. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in on these surveys and for hanging out with us during the live stream. We'll see you next week. Well, actually, this episode's doubling up this week, so we won't be doing the live stream this Friday. But the Friday after that, we'll be back with the live stream. And then we'll get closer to our patron chat at the end of the month. So stay tuned for some awesome stuff. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Mass Effect Lorecast. We'd love to hear your opinion and thoughts on the lore of Mass Effect. Reach out to us on Twitter at Mass Effect Cast, or check out the Robots Radio Discord. Also, you can send us an email at masseffectlorecast@gmail.com.